Hi, I'm Philippa from British History Tours, and I made up that name before I worked out if I could actually say it or not, so I find it quite difficult. Anyway, I put on a video the other day which went through, I just explained how come I set up British History Tours and really what the purpose behind it is, other than being a business obviously, but what I'm sort of trying to achieve with it. And I set, I posed a couple of questions as by way of illustrating why history is and should be of interest to everybody. And one of those questions that I set, I posed, was, has caused quite a bit of interest, and people have been asking me about it. And that is, are you part of the institution of marriage? And if you are, do you understand it? Do you know where it comes from? Now, I'm not an expert in the history of marriage, but I do know a few interesting facts that I think they're fascinating, because I'm not sure that people, the majority of us, know them. And before I go on, I want to tell you where I've got them from to start with. So this is a book by Maureen Walker called The English Marriage, and it takes you through some really interesting things. So I thought I would just summarise a few for you, and the ones that had actually prompted my comment in the last video. So marriage, I think I said, if you're a woman, do you know why you took your husband's name? And I alluded to the fact that it's not really a very romantic notion to take your husband's name, although I think we see that it is that now. Marriage was a business arrangement. So following the Norman conquest, land was divided in the country. We know about the Domesday Book. You know, that was a way of understanding who owned what in England. Now, if you lived in England at that time and you were a man, if you lived in England at that time, you were expected to fight for your lord, whoever owned the land that you lived on. If you're a woman, you weren't able to fight, so you were already a second-class citizen from that point of view. If a woman owned land, then, she couldn't. A woman could only transfer any land that she might inherit to a husband or maybe a brother, but a male relative. So marriage was about the transfer of property. It was a business transaction. Not only was the land or inheritance of a woman transferred to her husband, she was herself. She was property. She was the property of her father until she was given away at her wedding to her new husband, which is why our fathers walk us down the aisle. Oh, I'm going all ethereal. Which is why our fathers walk us down the aisle and give us away to our new husbands. And it's why we change our names when we get married. It's because we are becoming the property of our husbands, although not now. But we that's why that started, and that's why we take our husband's name. So I hope that's answered the questions that people are asking after the previous video. If not, feel free to get in touch. And if there's anything else that you'd like me to do a short video on, let me know and I'll be happy to do one. All right, bye for now.